Hello, everyone. It looks like we are live. I'll wait and make sure we've got audio before we get started. I decided I needed something to wake me up tonight. I tried Unlike Pluto. Yeah, that's going to be it sounds weird with one headphone. Let's change that. Amberlyn, I was able to do. Unlike Pluto, I think is going to be too distracting for me to see. Look, headphones to listen to. So let's go ahead and change that really quick. Let's go with Amberlyn. Seems to be a little bit. Although I friggin' love Unlike Pluto. Let's go with, sure, that album looks good. Okay, there we go. I think we are ready to go now. Is audio good? Yeah, it looks like everything is good. So tonight I am working in colored pencil and pan pastel. I'm going to be drawing these magnolias. And this is actually a really fun one because it's a part of a tattoo that I designed for myself that I want on my forearm. It's a much larger, lots of magnolia, so this is just a piece out of it. I'm also going to be making some merch out of the same design. The longer version of this design because, well, it's a bigger version, but I'm going to be making more sweatshirts, which I have tonight. My Zombie Snail Words Are Hard sweatshirt on, so you can go over to my merch store if you want some of these. I've got the chicken, don't drink the paint water. That's one of my favorite sweatshirts. So lots of those are over there. You can check that out, but I am working on new merch. Unfortunately, I did not get new merch done this weekend as I planned. These lights are not on strong enough because my washing machine dried. So I had to do all the research on which to replace it with. I knew the time was coming, but and then I decided to paint my laundry room, which I got all done start to finish on Monday. And now I'm just too old for this, honestly. Everything hurts. I'm half asleep. So if I sound off tonight, I'm not all here. So anyway, we've also started off the night. Let's see, Kathy said, hello, Lisa, I'd like to start the night off with a treat for the boys. Oh, look, Wade knows. You boys want a super chat? Thank you so much, Kathy. You guys get a super chat. Back up. I don't want you drooling on my water. There they are. I knew I brought them in here. Oh, you got a super chat, huh? That's a good time. There's one for you. There's one for you. Good boys. Say thank you, Kathy. Okay, go lay down. That's it. There are no crumbs. Not on those ones. Go lay down, Gibson. And there they go. Oh, we have another. Wait. We'll give it a second. From Kirsten said, getting the night started on the right paw. And look, he's waiting. Gibson's like, I think another one's coming. Okay, come get another super chat. Thank you so much, Kirsten. You guys are awesome. Is this fun? That one's a little small. We'll give you a bigger one. There's one for you. Oh, thank you for taking my whole finger in your mouth. At least he doesn't bite. Gross, Gibson. Okay, that's it. Go lay down. Good boys. Thank you guys again. Lay down. Lay down. All the way. There they go. Good boys. Okay. So for this one, if you want the reference photo, you can get that over at, why did the music stop? Hold on. I don't know. Whoa, that was loud. My Bluetooth decided it just wasn't going to work anymore. Really, do we have to fuss with this all night? Because I really need something to keep me awake. Nope. Hold on, I can fix this. Usually if I put them back in the case, it'll reconnect. I apologize for wasting your time, but I'm telling you right now, I am not getting through this night without music. Let's try this one. This one usually works a little better. Connect. It's connected and I hit the wrong button. And we're good. Okay, we'll try the other earphone and see how that goes. You guys care, sorry about that. Okay, so working on this tonight. This design, I'm going to do a base layer with the pan pastels, with the pinks. You can do it all with colored pencil, it's just that it would take a lot longer. That's one of my favorite parts about pan pastel. It just speeds things along. I'm working on Inktense, and this is going to fit a 5x7 mat, which means it gives it an overall frame size of an 8x10. This is the one. I'm going to show you too after the stream or after the artwork is in. I'm going to show you how to mat these. So this is how it's going to fit in the actual. It's going to be so pretty. God, I love this. This will fit like that in a black mat. And if you're within the US, you can bid on this if you, like me, love the pink magnolias. So The link is in the video description. The starting bid is $70, and I think we're ready to go. So I've got my soft tools that I'm going to be using. I actually have the backs from last week's, so I just flipped them over. They're mostly, one's clean enough. And I'm going to start by adding in, I need my pinks. It's kind of a brick red. So I'm going to be mixing my magenta. I'm going to flip this around so it's easy for me to reach. I'm going to be flipping, excuse me, mixing my magenta and I think some of my, is this red oxide or iron red? I think they call it iron red. Red iron oxide. Oh my gosh, I can't get the words right. But I'll mix these two and then white to get the pinkish color that I want. I don't care if it's the exact color of my reference photo, which did I mention already? Link for the reference photo is in the video description if you want to download that. And I think I included in that both the original photo that I based my design off of, because I kind of took pieces of different magnolias and stuck it together, and the digital portion that I had painted. Okay, so I'm going to use, as much as possible, I try to plan things out whenever I'm using Pastels so that it, hold on, this isn't a notification I need right now, is it? I don't think it is. Oh, that wasn't open. There we go. I try to plan out what I'm doing with the Pastels by color, because certain colors I can go from that color, wipe it off and go to another color without messing anything up. So like in this case, I'm doing the pinks. Those are a lighter color, the pinks and brownish tones. And then I'll use the same soft tool, so I don't have to change anything out, to get my branches, because I'm just going to a darker color. So it doesn't matter if a little pink mixes in that. Whereas if I started with the brown, it's going to be harder for me to go from the brown up to the lighter pinks. Hopefully that makes sense. So that's why I'm starting with the flowers. If it weren't for that, I probably would start with the branches, but there we go. So let's go ahead. I'm going to use some white, and I've got my magenta, a little bit of that red iron oxide, mixing those together. And I can test it. Do I have, of course I don't, because that would actually make sense. I can test it. I guess this will work. It's not the same color paper, but we're going to go with close enough and see if my color is close. I think I could use a little, no, actually that is pretty good. So I'm going to start here with the dark area. And I just try to go close to inside the lines. Now, it is important that I don't get outside the lines onto the paper, because I want that paper showing through. But if it's messy inside, that part doesn't really matter. Close is good enough. I'll clean it up with the colored pencils. So I will go a little bit darker with this. That mixture of those two colors is perfect though. Mine is a bit darker than what you guys are seeing. Let me see if I can fix that. We know that it's not an official live stream if I don't have to constantly check colors. I think last week I didn't though. Camera hub. This one. It's just a little bit too light. Is auto good? Nope, auto is not good. That's too dark. Yeah. Nope, too light. That's actually pretty close. What is my saturation? I can push that a little. Nope, too much. We'll just keep you right about there. I guess that's good enough. Oh yeah, music is definitely waking me up. That was a must. I normally will listen while I'm painting or drawing to either music or, more often than not, my audiobooks, which work great, but not while live streaming, because I cannot talk and listen to those at the same time. So again, mixing these three colors. And what I normally do, I keep a paper towel under my easel. So you guys don't see this, but there's a paper towel, and I just dab it a little bit before I hit the paper. Otherwise, I usually have a bit too much pan pastel on my brush. This color is a bit more pink than what you guys are seeing too, so I apologize for that. That's just the joy of, what is it, camera magic. Now these shapes in here don't really make a lot of sense. You're gonna look at these abstract shapes and, well, they don't look like a flower, that's for sure. Copy what you see, trust what you see on that reference photo. When they all come together, it'll start to make sense, just not yet. Wait, this one's this one, this one's this one, okay. Now when I get to the colored pencil stage, that sticks on top of this really well. So it shows up pretty good after I put my fixative over it. Again, mixing my red oxide, a little bit of magenta, a bit of white. Dab that on my paper to make sure that's not too crazy. Let's see which one's next. That one's going to be too dark, so let's skip up here because I've got too much color. I need more magenta for this one. I'm just looking for my darkest areas of the pink right now. And using these soft tool covers, or the soft tools, they are very similar to working with a palette knife. So you can get some control, but not a ton. That's where it will come on with the colored pencils to clean things up. It's getting a little bit too much of the red oxide, so I'll pull some more of the magenta into that. Much better. We've got some muddy colors in there. This will mix in with the whites. I'm missing part of this. You are supposed to come up this way. And so right now, this I don't need to be super dark, like it's a lighter shade of the pink. So I'm just using what little is left on that brush. I don't have to keep reloading for these light spots. I will have to reload to get white on it, but I mean, I can get some of these in there. But again, think of this as abstract shapes, not as, it's not a flower. None of this looks like a flower right now. We also have from Oriole Beagle. Do you guys want a super chat? Thank you so much. The boys are loving, too close to my water, move back. The boys are loving you guys. Well, I kind of love you too. There's all kinds of love going around. Was that tasty? Okay, go lay down, lay down, lay down. Good boys. Gibson, don't sniff everything on your way back home. Go lay down. Gibson. Slowest race dogs ever. Maybe that's what we need on our merch, slowest race dogs ever. That kind of fits us, doesn't it? Okay. Thank you again. Let's see, what else do we have in here? I'm going to go ahead and start mixing more of the whites in. Oh, that came out perfect. I want more of this peach color so that when I come on top with a white colored pencil, that's what really stands out on top of this. But if I don't get, if this is too light, then my colored pencil won't really show up. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them now. We'll be answering those at the end of the live stream. So if it feels like I'm ignoring you, I totally am, but only temporarily. Again, this doesn't have to be super crisp. We'll get that with the pencils. So don't waste your time trying to make everything perfectly smooth and detailed. I mean, if you get some great details in there, awesome. I mean, you don't have to blend it out or anything, but also don't spend too much time trying to perfect that. And we have another one. Thanks from, let's show the boys. From Rick Corbett, I don't know. Oh, geez, Bad Cow just recognized your name, Rick. I didn't even have to tell him what it was. He was just like, it's Rick. I know what I'm getting. He said, the boys need more treats. Thank you so much. And you are the baddest of cows. You're not supposed to get up. He goes, but I know Rick. Rick gives treats. That was funny. Such a bad cow. There you go. If you're unaware, Bad Cow is Rick's spirit animal. So that was really fitting right there. Okay, go lay down. See, thank you so much to Rick. You lay down, cow. Oh, he knows it's you. He knows. Look, he's been good this whole time until he's like, no, Rick says I can do what I want. Oh, no, that's Rob. Rob, sorry, I'm mixing up Rick and Rob. Rob it's his spirit animal. But apparently he knows Rick's name too, because he's like, no, I'm doing what I want. He said I could. And also we've got Gibson, seriously. Lay down. Gibson, down. Gibson, don't look cute. That is emotional manipulation, sir. Gibson, down. Jeez. Okay. Thank you again, Rick. So sorry for getting you and Rob mixed up on whose spirit animal is whose. When I'm this tired, I should not be allowed to speak or think. Probably shouldn't be allowed to draw. This needs to be a little bit more tan here, but I'll get a base in there for now. Is that all the pink I really need? Maybe get a little bit more of the base on some of this. Oops, that one actually needs to be lighter. Get a little bit of the dark in here. Now for new artists, I really like to start them off with flowers. Roses are one of my favorites because they're more three-dimensional, but magnolias work too. And the reason for that is it's easy to get that win, that good feeling of, oh my gosh, I did that. I created that, did a good job. I don't like to start people off with animals or with people or anything too much where if the nose is in the wrong place, it's like, oh, good job, kind of. With the rose or magnolias or a flower like that, it looks good even when it's not accurate. You're getting a feel for the medium, you're getting a feel for blending, for layering, without worrying about everything has to be perfect. So this is a really good project for beginners. I'm gonna start pulling in some brown. Let's get a little bit of the, what are you? You're burnt sienna, I believe, and some white. But this is really, really good for beginners to start with because you're not gonna hit that point where you're just like, oh, but it was drawn wrong. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. So you're not worrying about every line in order to get something that still looks really amazing. And I think that that's very important when you're first starting to feel like you're getting that win. It's very discouraging when you're starting off because what we do is you don't start off good. No one does. We'll back that up a little bit. Let's explain more. There's a myth that you're born with talent. You're born with a desire to paint and draw. That's what you're born with. Whether or not you're good has to do with how much time you're willing to put into it. How much time are you going to practice? I mean, it doesn't matter if I feel I was gifted in violin. I'm not, by the way. I mean, I play. It sounds pretty enough, I guess, but I'm not like some prodigy because I never practiced. I didn't put the time in. I could have. I didn't. It's not something that you either, like, you're born with the skill. You have to take lessons. or practice. But a lot of students will get very discouraged because there is something about art that people are convinced you either have it or you don't. You're born with it. And it's like, why is that the one thing people believe? And I think it's because people don't see the behind the scenes. I'm going to mix some of my red oxide and black to get the darker brown. People don't see the behind the scenes when it comes to art. They only see suddenly this person's drawing really well. They don't realize how much practice and how much time went on when they were alone in their bedroom drawing or wherever they happen to draw. I think most of us, let me know in the comments, I'm curious, how many of you started with just drawing in your bedroom? That's was my studio forever. But anyway, I mean, I guess technically this is the master bedroom, so I'm still drawing in a bedroom. But anyway, that idea that you're gonna start out good, I think discourages a lot of artists because they go into it expecting either I'm good or I'm not, and that's just not the case. It doesn't matter where your starting place is, good or bad, you can get good if you put in the time and the work. Now, some artists pick up on stuff faster, sure, but anyone can be good. I mean, I've known of so many artists who didn't start painting or drawing until they retired, and they were phenomenal too. So it's not even like it's too late. You have to start when you're kids, like music usually is. So, I mean, you can learn instruments. It's just going to be a lot harder when you're older, kind of like learning a language. But with art, it's not really like that. The point of that whole rambling session was don't be discouraged. If you're just getting started, do not be discouraged that your work is not as good as somebody else's. You'll get there if you're willing to put in the time. And then going back to where I started this rambling session with, Roses, flowers, these are things that are much less demanding for things to be perfect, to still look really pretty. And I think that's important when you're first starting with painting and drawing. You want to feel that win. I'm using a combination of the red oxide, the burnt sienna, and a little bit of the brown. I just want to get some variation in the branches. I don't want them all one color, is why I'm using so many colors here. Now I can do some of the highlights with pan pastels. I think it'd be easier just to do it with the colored pencil though. Okay, I'm going to pull a little bit more white though. I want a bit more base on the flowers. The branches are fine for now, but let's get some white. Again, if you have any questions, I will be answering those at the end of the live stream. I'm just going to pull a little bit more white in here, soften some of this up. And I'm going to use the edge of the, I want to call it a palette knife because that's really how I'm using it, but the edge of the soft tool to get a little bit more of a refined line in there. You don't have to do it with that. You could just skip or, wait and do that all with colored pencil. So if you're having a hard time with controlling the soft tool, just hold off on that. But I like this because it's going to give me a really soft look. Big tip, do not use your hand and swipe things away. You will smudge things and make them, just no. I blew on it there. You have to make sure you don't spit on it if you do that. I also have a tool somewhere that I've lost. It's like this little rocket ship thing that you squeeze and it blows air. So that will get rid of a lot of your shavings and you don't have to worry about spitting on it. I had a student once who was eating In-N-Out in our class. Well, I guess we have In-N-Out in Texas now too, but back when I was in California. And she brought her dinner with her. And I don't care if students eat, just be careful of your artwork. I mean, if you want to ruin your artwork, that's on you. She spit and she had In-N-Out spit. Actually, I don't even think she spit. I think she was talking and because she had braces at the time. Yeah. She was quite upset. Lucille Ball had a bit of a beauty mark that she shouldn't have. She was drawing Lucille Ball in graphite. Okay, I think that's good enough. I think the rest we can do with colored pencil. So I'm going to go ahead and put these away and switch over to my pencils. So give me just a moment here. Going to move these to make room. I've got way too much crap on my workbench here. Okay, I'm going to temporarily turn this camera off while I've got my pencils up. We'll pull them back or turn that camera back on when I show you how to mat this. But hopefully by turning it off, I don't know if it actually does or not, but my hope is when I turn it off, that this is the palette, that it causes less resources on the stream. So, okay, and it just doesn't want to open. What is happening? Why are you doing this to me right now? Open. There we go. Deactivate. Okay, so excuse the non-image there. Actually, I guess while I do colored pencils, I could pull in, which reference do I have? Hold on, this will actually be handy. Let's go with an image. This is going to be download it? I only downloaded part. Let me see if I've got the other part. Again, you can bid on this if you are interested in owning these Magnolias. I guess right now you can't tell that it's going to be pretty. So you'll have to wait for that. Oh, no, I didn't. Well, we're going, I guess I can go over to Patreon and download it. That should work. Oh, that was actually really easy. Okay, let me move this. Go in front of that. There we go. We have a reference photo for a short time. Okay, now what do we need? I need white. I think I'm gonna go with my Derwent Lightfast white. I've got Derwent drawing if I want it to be moved. Oh, you know what I didn't do, because I'm not, what happens when you're asleep? I need to do a layer of Spectrafix. So this is what's gonna kind of seal this down. So when I go on top of it with colored pencils, it's one, this works as a bit of, well, a fixative, not a bit of a fixative. It is a fixative, but it's going to seal down some of these pastels a bit more so that they're not gonna be like, reactivating is not the right word. Mixing in, smudging in, making it so the colored pencils are not standing out as much as I want them to. So it will do that, which is always a good idea when you're working with pastels, because over the years, when they're framed, you can see a bit of the pastels, no matter what kind of pastels you're working with. They will build up on the mat. Like they're not that permanent. So using any kind of fixative, I always recommend, and Spectrafix is the one I'm going to go with. So I'm going to do a light mist, and this is in a fine mist sprayer. The links for this are in the video description. And let's go do a couple light mists, and then I'm going to take the hairdryer, and hopefully I don't blow the power thing, breaker. Okay. And the other reason that I wanted to take, so the hairdryer speeds things up, but it also will pull the paper back into shape. Canson Me10s is very absorbent, and so when you get it wet with the mist, it really warps. So taking the hairdryer, because I've got it taped down, and that's taped with pH neutral tape, so that keeps everything archival. But when you go over it, it's going to dry flat into shape. So there we go. And let's go ahead and get started on the colored pencils. So I already got the white. I need some pinks. So my pinks, there's not a lot of good Derwent drawing pinks. There's great purples, but not so much. Oh, that one's pretty good. I'm gonna go with my polychromos for a lot of the pinks and peaches, because there's some great colors in there. So I've got my Caput Mortem. I want some of these lighter pinks. This one is light purple pink. We'll be using that. Couple areas that are a bit brighter, so this one looks good. Pink Carmine. I'm just taking a handful, just grabbing a bunch of them here. I need a darker. Which one are you? What else? These are actually probably enough. I need some. This one's good. This one is going to be medium flesh. They may have renamed this because calling things flesh sounds like zombies to me and gross. And I've got light flesh, so more zombie color. And I've got the white. So let's start with these. I'm going to need brown. So let's see what I've got as far as that goes. Again, I'm going to use my polychromos. And we've got This one is Van Dyke Brown. I'll be using you. There is, believe it or not, there's no black at all in this piece. So my darkest colors are going to be my brown mixed with my magenta colors, or caput mortem. And we've got some lighter kind of cream colors. So I've got ivory. I already had the white out. What else do I need? I've got the pinks. I need a tan. Do I not have tan? You may work. This is bisque, raw umber. Good enough. Okay, let's see what we can do with this. I don't know if I have, yeah, I do have sharpeners over here. Okay, I am going to start with some of my lighter areas. Let's sharpen that pencil. I don't even think this is actually white. This is Oyster with the Derwent Lightfast. Derwent Lightfast has, look, it looks white. Like, it is such a minor difference between the white and Oyster. They've got a few different like whites. I don't know why. I do not understand. Maybe they were just looking to be able to say, look, we've got more Lightfast colors, but like it's hard to make Lightfast colors, so like, just go with white. Oh, do I not have my glassine? Where did it go? It was down here. And everything else down here. You know what? I'm not going to waste time looking for that. Let me just grab a fresh sheet. So glassine is what I keep under my hand so that it keeps the oils from my skin from touching the work, but it also keeps me from smudging, so super helpful. And the link for this is in the video description. This is acid-free. I also use this in between my paintings, or drawings. I use it when I ship a painting because I don't want the cardboard touching it, or if I'm storing a bunch of paintings or drawings like flat in a box, I stack this in between if I'm not being lazy. If being the key word there. So I'm just going to tape this to my drawing board, and that way I can rest my hand. We'll start with that big flower. And I just need to start cleaning things up. Oops. So I'm doing that outer edge, so I don't want me to focus in here. The areas I want really nice and crisp are the edges of each of these petals. Got a few little lines in there with, I'll use the caput mortem. Is that what I've got here? Yep. I want to get a polychromos white out too, because sometimes I want to lighten something up, but I don't want it that bright white. Polychromos is perfect for that because it's not that opaque. See how it just kind of lightens it a little? I'm going to use, this one is medium flesh, so we'll call it medium zombie. And then again with the polychromos white, just to lighten a little bit. So this, you can really see we're starting to get all of these abstract shapes in here. None of that looks like a flower. If you go into it thinking flower, it has to look like it's not going. You're not going to be happy. It just doesn't at this stage. I need to switch to my Derwent drawing because I want that edge more opaque. Push a little too hard, hit myself in the face with the flying lead there. I'm pushing a lot harder where I want it to be really opaque. Again, abstract shapes. Just look at your reference photo. Where are your lights and darks? Let's switch over to the caput mortem here. And I'm adding a decent amount of pressure for a lot of this at this point because, so I'm burnishing. I flatten the tooth of the canvas. I can't get many layers on after that, but I really don't need to at this point because I already have that base layer with the Pastels. Whoops. I'm going to throw my pencil on the floor. Oh, I can't bend over to pick it up after painting that laundry room. I don't remember things hurting this bad after painting when I was younger. So I'm using the polychromos where I don't want it super, super bold bright. And then we've got this really light pink. So this one is my light purplish pink. We'll pull a little bit of that in here. I'm going to pull a little of that in here as well. I'm going to go over this with my medium zombie, because that is now what light flesh is called, or medium flesh. Will forever be known as medium zombie. Seriously, why don't they let me name things? My names are so much better. We should start a change.org. Let Lisa name all the things. So this area, I need to lighten from about here. It's a really definite light area, but I also don't want to push very hard. So I'm using the polychromos so that it doesn't get too light. But see how it mixes in with the pan pastels that are under it, so it just lightens it. But if I used a higher wax-based pencil, that's going to be way too harsh. So like I know that Derwent Light Fast lists theirs as being oil-based, but in practice, it's got a very high wax content. All of the pencils are a combination of wax and oil. It's just a matter of, in practice, how much wax or oil. But the Derwent Light Fast definitely has a lot more of the wax, and more wax is going to mean more opaque. And the more wax, the more brittle it is, the more likely it is to snap, so you're not going to want to push quite as hard. Let's go with light zombie now. I'm going to switch over to my Caput Mortem. Let's pull some darker. Do we have dog hair on there? So whoever wins this also gets a piece of Gibson. Thanks, Gibson. And I'm going to lighten this area. See, again, just look at your reference photo. It doesn't have to make sense. When you look at something, you're like, I don't understand why it's lighter there or why it's darker there. You just need to do it. You just need to copy what you see. What is it you always hear people say? Trust the process. Just trust the reference photo. I'm going to switch back to that purplish pink right in between the transition between Caput Mortem and then that medium zombie. Get a little bit in this one, not too much. I don't want to go too crazy with that one because it's really purpley. Got Caput Mortem. Clean up that edge. That's a little bit on the dark side, so I'm going to go right over it with light zombie. And then we need some more of the white streaks coming down. And medium zombie. Back over to white. Clean that edge up, but I don't want it to be more opaque than it already is, so I'm using my polychromos. I'm going to lighten just a little bit right here. Not going to pull that all the way up. And then I'm going to go back over to my medium zombie and pull a few little streaks up. Oh, I love it. It looks better in person because the pink is a little bit more pink than peach. I mean, there is that peach tone because of my zombie tones, but... Okay, next. So as I move over, I'll come back to those No, I lied. I'm going to do those now. Let's get some of these branches in now as I move my way over. Let's just start from that end. So we've got the much darker, which is already pretty dark. And I'm pushing pretty hard here. Definitely burnishing. Actually, you know what I want is, wait, can I put more and go dark enough? No, I want a purple tone. Oh wait, this will work. No, it won't. It's also broken. I want one of my Derwent Lightfast purples, as in actual purple. Perfect. It's kind of a magenta-y purple. Magenta-y, is that a word? Oh, there we go. There's the dark color I'm looking for. And I don't need this to be perfect. I just need it, I need variation. It'll look more like a branch if I've got variation. If it's perfectly like solid, it's not gonna look realistic. If like, one of the problems that a lot of people have when they do branches is they would be like, okay, the light is coming from here, so this whole section is light, this whole section is dark. That doesn't look natural. It ends up making it look very, very flat. So if you're drawing a cartoon, fine. But like, see here, I'm gonna put a dark area right up there. So it doesn't really make a lot of sense. It's that when you're doing it, it's that you've got different light hitting and bouncing off different branches, and then some of the leaves are casting shadow. There's just so many factors. This is a pencil I'm going to have to replace soon. I get my use out of that color for sure. That's definitely, the purple is on my must-have. Purple and Nightshade, and I think one of the violet colors are like must-haves for me out of the Derwent Lightfast pencils. Now some of this, the Pan Pastel went out of the edge a little bit, so all I did is come back through and widen that branch in that area a bit. Just work it into the design. I'm going to use ivory for a lot of the highlights there. I'm pushing really hard to get that ivory to show up. This actually, I don't need to worry about that gets cut off by the mat, so we're not going to put a bunch of time there. And I'll come back through with some of this with my light zombie. Just highlights here and there. We don't want to just highlight everything. Actually, I want light and medium zombie in here. See how it's really, we're getting a lot of that texture. Very bumpy branch. Okay. Let's clean this up a little bit more here. Now here, I just put a dark line there, and now it just looks like it's outlined and it looks terrible. So I'm gonna go right over that with ivory. I don't care if it's darker, it was just too like cartoony outline. Okay, I'm gonna use a bit, do I have a cream color with? I do. Let's use this with the Derwent Lightfast. I've got wheat. That'll be good for some of these highlights. Oh yeah, way better than just white. Okay, let's move on to the next little zone. I need a drink of water really quick. Okay. Next, we're going to move on to this guy here. We've got a lot of the dark right in the center here. A little bit over here. I'm using purple to get the really dark area. I want to make sure that, see how I cleaned up the dark right there to make that one stand out, but I'm going to pull this shadow up into this flower. So I've got that nice crisp line around the white there. It just makes that pop a bit more. And let's go with, I'm going to pull that purplish pink just a bit on a couple of spots there. And what else? Use Caput Mortem, and I think the Zombie Pink, we'll use that quite a bit in here to start defining these deeper shadows. And just, again, abstract shapes. What do you see in your photo? And then I'm going to switch over to, let's see, let's use my light zombie for the transition here. And Caput Mortem, define those shadows a little bit more. Oh, this is not Amberlin anymore. What am I listening to? Where did my phone go? Hold on, we got to fix the music. Sounds nice, but I don't know if I just chose the whole album, though. I don't think I did, so I'm probably going to be messing with my phone again in a minute. I apologize. So I'm going to go over that with my zombie, my light zombie. Let that blend. Now, don't overly blend things, too. You do want there to be some definition between those lights and darks. Really look at your photo. Where is it a soft line and where is it a harsh line? That's really important in making your work look more realistic. I know when I first started, and I think every artist, when they first start, we all want to make everything crisp and sharp. That doesn't make it more realistic. You really want to pay attention to where something needs to fade out. So like here, I'm just transitioning that. I'm going to take the Caput Mortem and pull that up just a bit. And let's get this. Okay, I've already got the dark there. Now I need the light. Let's use polychromos. And I don't like how definite that shadow is. Let's tone that down just a bit. And your work doesn't have to be exact to the reference photo. Just go for a close, but you do want to constantly look at it. If you're looking at something in your work and you're like, it doesn't look right, I don't like it, look at the reference photo. What is different between your photo and what yours is? Let's pull my Van Dyke Brown again for that base. Define that really well. That one's going to be light. These ones here are really dark. I'm going to use ivory with the polychromos so that it's not too bright. If I use the wheat, it's too opaque for that area for what I want. I can also use that on this guy that needs to be lighter. And let's start pulling the purple in for the really dark areas. I'm pushing pretty hard with this pencil. Keeps everything nice and clean. And this shadow is more on the inside of the branch. So the outside is a little bit lighter. I'm going to go over that with some of my, actually, I'm going to use my light zombie for that outer edge. And then what was I just using? Purple. There it is. Too many pencils in my hand. That's when you know I'm about to drop everything. See how I'm letting some of the light show through? I'm not trying to cover everything with that dark. Still pushing really hard, so I'm burnishing here. Just remember, where you push hard, you're not going to get many layers on top of that. Depending on how much you push, maybe not any layers. I'm going to switch over to medium zombie. Start pulling some of those. Oh, I like that. I want to pull a little bit more with that color in there. And if you just arrived, I've been calling, to me, any of the colors that call medium flesh, light flesh, it just makes me think of zombies. So we're just going to go with that, because if we're going to make things gross, let's make them really gross. And they may have changed the, I think they changed, I need to look that up, because I keep saying I think they changed the names, but I heard it's more of a, I heard someone say it and never verified it for myself. Maybe I should stop spreading that information until I find out, huh? So I'm going to use my Derwent Drawing White. I'm sorry, Derwent Light Fast White, because it's going to show up a lot better. I'm going to pull a little bit of that over here too. And see here, because I burnished, when I go over it with the white, it's just blending in with it. It doesn't stick that well, but it does lighten it up and blend it really nicely. Same thing here. Okay, move that over. Oh yeah, that wasn't the whole album. What in the world? No, you guys are terrible. I'm not going to say who it was in case anybody likes it, and then I get yelled at for it. But seriously, it was pretty terrible. Albums. That's what I need, so I can stop messing with this. Perfect. I should be set for a while now. So I'm pushing pretty hard there where I want that to really stand out. Again, still pushing hard. If this doesn't sell, I have a perfect spot in my own house for it. This is really pretty in person. So I'm using my light zombie there for this lighter area. Look how well that shows up. As long as I haven't burnished over that area, it'll show up fine. And that's one of the reasons. So if I'm working on a super smooth paper, let's say I had made it black, airbrushed it black, whatever, the color, what? Words, they're hard. Polychromos doesn't show up that well, but with Inktense MeWe, it has so much tooth, the polychromos shows up really well, even though they're not the most opaque of all of the colored pencils. And that's why, because even though I've got darker colors under it, the polychromos is showing up so well, because it's such grippy paper. Now that's not to say that Inktense MeWe is like the only paper to go to. I use it a lot, especially when I'm using pen pastels, but when the paper that you're using will impact the methods and the techniques you use. So the way that I use polychromos on Inktense MeWe, not quite the same as I do when I'm working on a hot press watercolor paper. Just because they behave differently. On a hot press watercolor paper, if I wanted something super opaque like that, and I'd already had a darker color under, I would need to go with one of my higher wax-based content. So in my case, that would either be my Derwent Drawing, Derwent Light Fast, or my Caran d'Ache Luminance. I'm gonna pull that purpley pink in this one too, just a bit. It doesn't even look that pink on your guys. I'll show you on this camera. Usually the color is a little bit more accurate. Oh, we've got a whole thing over here I'm missing. Get a shadow right on the back end of this flower. A little bit of a shadow there. I'm going to go over that with my light flash though. That's a bit too harsh. There we go, much better. Same thing, still using light flash. That's not standing out enough though. Let's try the polychromos. I'm going to push pretty hard to get that to stand out. Sharpen this one. This is my, what did I say it was, raw umber? Yeah. Just a little bit of that raw umber on some of these buds. Oh, that adds such a pretty tone. Put that in a couple more spots on the little bud guys. Now that needs to be more defined. Let's go with a little bit of zombie, medium zombie over that. And the light flesh, or sorry, light zombie. I don't even get my own names right. That's why they won't let me name things if I can't even get it right. Go with some of the capmortum. I want to round that out just a bit. Now at this point, it's mainly done, like mostly done, but I can sit and we've got time. So I'm just going to do a little bit of detailing work, sharpen my pencils a bit more, and make things a bit more crisp or soft, depending on the area that needs touch-ups. But being that we have time, we may as well go in and do some little adjustments here and there. And I'm just, again, looking at that photo. What can I make a little bit lighter? What can I make a little bit darker? You'll see me squinting my eyes a lot as I make those decisions. I want a little bit of a, I need a, oh, I have it out already. This one is pink carmine. So we'll start pulling that guy in here. Let me show you really quick what the color, let's see if the color even shows up that much better, but what the color is looking like on this, because it's always a bit off. Oh yeah, you can see much better now. This is much, much more accurate. You can see how pink that is. Then again, when it's matted, just so you can see the size-wise, you're looking at more like that. So you can see how much of that gets cut off. Oh, I'm so excited about this one. This is so pretty. Okay, back to work. So I think I'd like some more highlights on the branches in a couple of spots. So anywhere, if I burnished and things just aren't sticking, so like, let's try this. I don't even know if it's gonna stick well. It's not. So what I can do is grab, hold on, do I have one over here? I do. Okay. So this is a Faber-Castell Perfection Eraser. So I'll show you a little trick on when your colored pencils hit a point and it just, nothing is sticking, but you have like one little spot that you need to lighten up or darken, whatever it is. So I'm gonna sharpen that a little bit. In this area, I want to be a little bit lighter, so I'm going to erase what's there. And I'm not trying to bring the paper back to its original color. That is not the point of using one of these erasers. This little handy eraser guy. What I'm doing is lifting some of the color that's already there. It exposes some of the paper. It brings back the tooth. So now if I come on top with that pencil, look at how much that stands out. That was not happening on top of what I just had. I didn't even have to push hard. Where I was pushing really hard trying to get it to show up, same pencil, there was nothing for the pencil to grip to. So by erasing some of those layers of pencil, I've now brought back the tooth and I can go over those areas. So anywhere that needs to be a bit brighter, I can do that with, assuming that I've gone too heavy with the pencil burnishing. Oh, we have, wait, let's show the boys. From, let's see if they even, well, Gibson already knows something's coming. He's licking his lips already. That's what he knows. Dealing Creative Art said, hi, Lisa. No, we're not doing it every time. Lay down. Yeah, caught you. I got you on camera. I can see you from here. He's like, I yawned, didn't do nothing. D-Lynn Creative Art said, hi, Lisa. And everyone, I've been watching on TV. Pups look hungry again. This is beautiful. You think so, boys? Do you want a super chat? Now you can come. Thank you so much. Oh, get away from my water. Did you guys look hungry over there and I didn't notice? How sad. There you go. Nom. Good boys. Thank you so much. Okay, which are very tasty. Oh no, this is so tasty, huh? Okay, go lay down. Down. You too, Cal. Gibson, seriously. We don't lick parts on camera. That's not this kind of show. Go lay down. Lay down. Wade. Lay down. Lay down. Here we go. Slowest race dogs ever. There we go. Good boys. Thank you again. Okay. So let's get back to this guy. Now there's a few areas in here that look a little bit rough. I'm just going to burnish over it a bit. And by burnishing, what I'm doing is pushing a bit harder on the pencil so it jams the pigment into the paper. It flattens the tooth of the paper so everything's really smooth. But if you flatten the tooth of the paper, then things don't stick on top very well. So those are your pros and cons to everything. But use that little eraser trick I showed you. And most erasers not going to do the same. You want the Faber-Castell Perfection eraser because it's kind of like an ink eraser. It's got just the perfect amount of roughness to it. So like cat tongue. No, it's not as rough as a cat tongue. But it's just the perfect amount of roughness that it will lift. Do not have your cats lick your work. That's not going to solve your issues, by the way. Assuming you could convince a cat to do so. But it will bring enough tooth back that sometimes you can get layers that you otherwise were struggling to get on there. One of my must-have pencil supplies. Okay, so this was the color I wanted to bring back in. This was that pink carmine. Just in a few areas. Look how pretty that is. And it darkens it. Well, I don't know. You're not seeing the same color I am on that camera. Thanks, Elgato. It's a brand of camera I'm using if you don't know what that meant. It's the brand of camera here. This camera is a Razor, so different. I guess I should point that out in case anyone's actually paying attention to that sort of information. The problem is the Razor could only run one. I bought two. You can only have one going at the same time, apparently. Unless they changed the software. I should look into that. Maybe they did. I just want to make sure I've got a lot of really pretty contrast in there. So don't over blend, don't overgo, like it's so easy to keep reworking an area so you no longer have your lights and your darks. It's just kind of a mush of middle tone. We want the definite lights and darks. Actually, I'll stick with that one. And I don't care if the color is exact. I'm just trying to get my values that are my darks dark enough, my lights light enough. That is what I care about. That's a little too dark, so I'll just go over all of that with my white. I'm using the polychromos white so it doesn't get too light. Use medium zombie here just to darken that, and I'll go over it again with the white to tone it down a bit. There we go, that blends out nicely. I want that to stand out a bit more, so let's see if I can get it to stand out with the... Nope, I'm gonna have to erase a little bit. So we'll use our little eraser trick. That wasn't standing out, so I'll erase the area I want to really get that white to show up on. Let's see if that was enough. Yep, look at how that, like, oh my gosh, that really stood out. Maybe a little too much. We'll have to tone it down. Oh, actually, it blended in nicely. Same thing here. I'm having a hard time getting my highlight on that outer edge. I'm just going to take my eraser, lift that up. And look, now it's just super bright. A little too bright. I'm going to go over that here. Now it's just backing up and deciding, do I need something a little brighter, a little darker? Just softening some of this up because this guy's pretty soft. And we've got medium zombie. I'm pushing pretty hard to really blend that. I'm going to go over this with the polychromos to lighten it. There we go. Now it gives me that softer look. Okay, I think that is good. Now when you sign the work, you don't want to just sign it like at the bottom, because that would be what I can't talk. That would be what would feel more natural to me. But because the mat is going to cover part of that, that won't work. Oh, Nick said, they did change the name of the polycolor flesh. It was light flesh, now it's beige red. Why don't they let me name things? 31 was medium flesh, is now coral. Coral makes sense to me, but I also don't like these two colors. I do feel like they should be named the same thing, like light and medium made sense because they are such a similar tone to each other. One's just a lot darker than the other. So coral, sure. I mean, none of my coral, because I actually keep coral as that color. Well, maybe if I turn the blues off, but yeah, anyway. So they do have new colors. I'm never going to remember what those colors are, so we're going with zombie, light, medium, zombie. Okay, moving on. I need to mat this, but I need to sign it first. So what I'm going to do is hold that to where that's going to fit and sign from there. I'm going to use Caput Mortem. And yeah, definitely this bottom corner. Oops, 24. I'm having to go over it to darken it all up so you can't, before it doesn't look darker, since I had to fix that. There we go. So see why that looks very, very odd if we were to, if you didn't know where the mat was going to fit. So the next thing I actually need to get a good photo of this before, do I need a photo of this? No. Yes. Yeah, I probably should. Okay, I'll steal that SD card. I'm gonna get a photo of this and then put these pencils away and I can show you how to mat this. I just need a photo because sometimes I'll make my postcards out of some of these, but once it's matted, it's not so easy to photograph. Oh gosh, too old to bend over. And let me grab, what am I looking for? SD card. So I don't need that anymore. Give me 1 second to get a good shot of this. This is the second time I've needed to get a photo. I need to learn to, you can hear me. Start doing that, getting the camera ready before. Oops. Okay, that should work. Oh, bringing the camera back with me instead of the artwork. Wrong thing. Okay, we've got to make a few camera adjustments and I'll show you how to mat your work. So the mats that I use, I get these from Golden State Art. You can buy them from goldenstateart.com, I think, or from Amazon is where I've been getting them lately. So which was this? This one. Let's reactivate this camera and remember to turn off autofocus because that's never correct. Not auto. Okay. So the first thing that I need to do is remove the tape. The first thing I need to do is center this camera. Oh, good enough. I need to remove the tape. Now, if you have been painting, let's say you finished this a week ago, 2 weeks ago, whatever, you want to make sure that the paper can rip really easily with the tape. So you can take a hairdryer and heat that up and then pull the tape off. That is the safest way to go. In this case, it's only been on for an hour I put this on. So I'm going to pull the tape away, and it needs to pull away from the artwork. Never ever pull it in, meaning this direction. If you pull it towards the art, if that rips, if it hits a corner of that paper, it will tear in, and you just, well, you're in a bad place now. So tear away. That way, if anything lifts on the edge, it doesn't matter. That gets covered by the mat. But you pull in, and it can rip into the painting. Ask me how I know. Actually, don't ask me how I know. It's actually embarrassing how I know. So, and slow. That's the other thing. Do not go fast. This isn't a Band-Aid. Now, if I were doing this and I wasn't on camera and my hairdryer would reach this easily, I would be doing that with the hairdryer just to be sure. But again, the tape's not been on here very long, so it should be fine. And it came off safely. We are good. Okay, next, we're gonna put this out of the way. Actually, let me put it away so it doesn't fall. Give me just a moment here. Now we need our mat. I think this is the correct one. Oh, I've got a few mats over here. This is my main one. Oh, look, Gibson hair. That's a shocker. So what I'm going to do first is position where I want this to set. And the color is wrong. So if you're bidding on this, this is not, well, you can see by the color of my hands being yellow. I don't know if that's something I can easily fix. Let's see. You know what? It doesn't matter. Because the point is just to see how it's matted. So I want to position that. Now I'm going to hold that in place and just slide it towards me, flip it over, make sure that's pretty even. And now I'm going to take, this is a pH neutral masking tape. You want to make sure you're using acid-free. Don't go grab some Scotch tape and tape this on there. And I know some of you have done it. I know because I've done it. But I've also seen what happens over the years. It will start to get very brittle and yellow the artwork itself. And whoever that tape is, this is why we want to go with an acid-free, pH neutral. Now, I should have cut this a little bit smaller than what I did. I'm going to have, it's kind of a pain where the tape is going to be going over that when I tape the backing, which you'll see in just a minute here. Actually, I don't want you there. Let's scooch you a little bit. Scooch. And the tape that I'm going to attach the backing with is going to attach to this a little bit. Actually, yeah, whatever. So the next tape. This is Scotch permanent tape. This is double-sided. It is an acid-free pH neutral one. I don't know if it says that on this container. It says it somewhere because I paid extra for that. You don't want to just use any double-sided tape. What I'm going to do is tape a white board. This is a backing to it, and it's going to make it so when the person who buys this isn't going to see all this ugly tape in the background. We want to hide that. It is our dirty little secret. My fingers are not cooperating with me. And tape is now off to the edge. That was too big. We'll just stick you there because that was way bigger than I meant to grab. And normally I go with these edges, but I did not leave myself much room, so this is what it's going to be. Now we just remove all of those little backings. It's not wanting to come off. Same thing, push the corner down better. Come on, get on there. And I know you may think, well, it's cheaper to matte stuff and not have, I've got pastels getting all over the back, the tape, to not do this backing. Like it's a little bit of an added expense. But the thing is, it's not that much of an added expense to make it look super professional. If you just matte it, I mean, matting it makes it better, but not as good as what it can be. I mean, imagine receiving something and this is what the back looks like. It's very, my kid drew this at school for me and tried to fancy it up. So now we're going to take this backing, and these, when I buy them, they come all together. And I just lean that up towards myself to make sure, I think you can see better on this. Let's see if I can make it so you can see. I kind of hold it this way and make sure it's sitting even. And then go around and push it down. So on this one, it's these two ends I need to make sure I push down really well. So now this is the front and back, looks so clean and nice. And it also protects the artwork a little bit more. So it's not like, you know, it's got a backing there. That is safer. Now we have the last stage, which in my opinion is a must. We've got these little crystal clear bags. We're gonna stick him in. Let's pull back to this one. We're just gonna slide that in there. Rob is used to these from his comic books. This tape is super annoying and ends up stuck on everything all over the house, even though you thought you cleaned it up. My husband collects comic books as well, and trust me, I know. That tape ends up everywhere. There we go. So, as I drop it, there is our finished artwork. If you want a chance to own this, you can bid on that. The link is on my website. $70, original painting or drawing. That's really cheap. So if it doesn't sell, I'll actually probably put it on for a lot more. I'll probably list this, if this does not sell tonight, I would probably list this for $175, $150, $175, something like that. So $70, way cheap. But anyway, there we go. There is the finished project for tonight. And look how nice that looks. It looks so professional and so pretty. And it doesn't cost that much more to get the backing and the bag to go with it. And that's, again, Golden State Art. I need to link that in the description. I don't think I have it linked as in my affiliate links, so I'll have to update that. But there we go. So now let's go through your questions. My brain shut down. There we go. So Jason said, does Canson have smooth, smooth paper that's available at places besides Dick Blick or Jerry's? I think Amazon. I'm not sure which stores carry. I don't go into many stores. I mean, all we really have around here now for stores are Hobby Lobby and Michael's, and I never go into either. It's rare that I go into one of those stores. So I'm not sure, but Amazon I think carries it too. Michelle said, did Lisa ever announce the results of the drawing for one of our dogs? I keep checking. Oh, I'm sorry. I announced it in our Discord because the winner was somebody who was in our Discord at the time. Yes, it was Lily and her collie. Beautiful. Looks like a Pantene model. Beautiful. And that fur is actually going to be rough to get the rough coat, the soft downy. So I'm excited about that lesson. But the other thing was there were several submissions that I have to draw. So a few more people are going to win, and I'm not going to announce those. One of them I did, but most of those I'm not going to announce because I don't know when I'll get to them, but there's a possibility some of them, because some people, like there was one, was it a border collie? It was a border collie, Australian Shepherd mix. I don't know what it was because its ears weren't right for either, but it was really pretty the way it was backlit. Beautiful dog, but not the greatest photo. But that would be a good one for like showing you how to take a photo that's not amazing, but really making those colors pop. So there were a few photos that I really liked that I think would make for great, great lessons in the future. I'm not going to do them all in a row because I can only take so many pet portraits in a row. But yes, so Lily was our winner. Kristen said, please do a kitten in watercolor. Yeah, I may do that. I'm not super proficient with watercolor. I can make things that are pretty, but I do watercolor and colored pencil usually. I usually like to do it as an underpainting, so I may do that. Let's see. Eddie said, is the fixative water-based then? Why would it warp the paper otherwise? I don't know the science behind it. It's wet. Wet warps. I don't know. it makes it kind of stretch out. Noctis Gamma said, when you work on your art, do you ever have things in your mind, or are you totally in the zone every time? I struggle with this more as the years go on. I'm wondering if you have any advice. Actually, tonight, yes, I had something that I found out like right before the live stream, so I definitely have something on my mind, and you work through it. I think the art can help because it kind of lets you zone out and not have to focus on the thing you don't want to focus on. So certainly, is it you, Dragon? Certainly, yeah, it definitely a lot. Art is one of the best therapeutic things you can do. So it certainly helps, depending on, you know, what's going on. But yeah, I mean, I didn't get any artwork done this weekend because my washer decided to crap out on me. But so I got a new one, and it was like weekend of research, the new ones. And then I decided to paint my laundry room. I mentioned this at the beginning, and this is why I'm super sore right now and half asleep. But I did not get much sleep this weekend. But yeah, I didn't get artwork done then. If I'm super tired, I usually don't bother with the art if it's a tired thing. But yeah, when something's on your mind and you're really upset, I think art's one of the best things you can do. It allows you to focus on the art and the emotion and creating versus whatever it is that, in my case, like something that like it bothered me. So yeah, that would, yes, my advice is do more art. When something is on your mind, whether it's anxiety, whether causing depression, causing whatever, art is one of the most healing things you can do. There's a reason there's art therapy, whether it's somebody who wants to get into art or not. Art therapy is the act of creating is healing. So my best advice for you is if you are bothered, you're upset about something, you're stressed about something, don't watch TV, go draw. Even if you're just doodling and making nothing, it is way more healing than TV or the internet is going to be. What size shirt do I have on? I want to say this was a medium, but then I ordered another medium and it didn't come out as a medium. It came out as like a child's medium. It was super weird. I actually had to have Teespring, or I think they're just called Spring now, replace it for me. So I think, is the tag still on there? No, let me see if there's a tag anywhere. I want to say this was a medium, but I think the sweatshirts, when I order more, I want to buy larger extra because I like really, really baggy sweatshirts. So like, just to give you an idea, I normally, like, let's say in a t-shirt, I would be a small. Usually if I go with a sweatshirt, I'm going to go with anywhere between a medium to a large. Some of my favorite sweatshirts are extra larges because they're just super comfy. But I think this was a medium. Actually, no, hold on. I'll let you know. Let me go grab, and I'll show you the chicken don't drink the water sweatshirt and what size that is. So I'm pretty sure this is a large, and it's not even as fluffy or as big as I would like it to be. So this is my chicken don't drink the paint water one. The thing that I didn't love, the bottom is a little bit smaller, and the head, getting my head through it is a little bit smaller on this one. But I actually got one from them. It was so bad. I think it was one of the chicken don't drink the water paint water. I had to contact them, and I showed them, I laid down my old sweatshirt, the same exact size, and the other one, and it was like, this one's for kids. Like, it's not even an adult size. It was super weird. So they actually pulled that listing. I think one of the things I love, this is why I keep my merch through Teespring. Again, Spring. Originally it was because they were tied in with YouTube, but they have a really high standard for quality control. So whenever I've gotten something and there was something wrong with it, they are on top of replacing that, and they will pull that item from their like website while they figure out what went wrong in the production. So that's I love them for that. But yeah, this one is a large, and it's not honestly that big. It looks bigger than it is when I put it on. Again, my head trying to shove it through the hole my head's not like abnormally large. So I mean, it is, but figuratively. So this is yeah, that is the large one. Let me put this somewhere where it stays clean, because I just washed this. Okay, there was, we have from Hitomi said, let's show the boys. They don't even know. Hitomi has bedtime snacks for the pups. You want a super chat? Come on. Thank you so much. The boys, thank you very much. Oh yes, very excited. It's very tasty. One for you. These are my fingers. Good boys. Your collar is sideways. Okay, go lay down. Say thank you, Hitomi. Good boys. Go lay down. Go lay down. Go lay down. Or just completely ignore me. I mean, I guess we can do that too. Lay down. There we go. And we're almost there. Oh, gotta stretch. And almost. So close. Gibson, today. My gosh. Okay. I'm gonna go at my own pace. Let's see. Karina said, I'm having trouble understanding the cool and warm colors with depth. I don't do many landscapes for this reason. I'm sure you have covered this in previous tutorials though. I've not done an in-depth, that's one I need to plan out more because there's so much to like warm, cool, and all of that. I need to, but let's say I want to start another oil painting. I've been told that this is where cools and darks are important. I keep making muddy messes because of mixing things like cool reds with warm blues. Simplify it. You're making it too difficult. Don't pick a red, pick like a middle of the road, like red, pick a blue, pick a green, pick even a green. You don't even have to, you just pick a yellow and mix your own. The easiest, most simplified, and yes, there's more to it, I know, but the most simplified way to explain warm and cool in your landscapes is if you can have things like use more blues in the things that are in the background. As you move forward, use more yellows, warm it up. That's like the most basic of simple. Yes, I know there's more to it than that, but to those people who are going to leave angry letters. But yeah, it's simplify it. Don't even worry you're worrying too much about it. Pick a red, a blue, and those are the only reds, and that is the only blue you're going to use in this painting. When you get to where you're like, well, this is my red, warm red, this is my cool red, this is my middle, you will overcomplicate things, and it sounds like you're not quite there that it matters that much. Don't even worry about it. One red, one blue, your black, your white, if you want a brown, or you can do what I do. I just mix my black and my red oxide because brown, you know what, you said you're working in oil, so you don't have to worry about my brown with Liquitex Basics dry way too fast, so I just mix my own with red oxide and black. Both those colors do not dry out too fast. So, and by dry out, I mean in the tube. So just simplify everything. It's so easy to find, like there are concepts in art that they're not invalid. I don't mean to dismiss it as like, yes, what the people are telling you as far as making a muddy mess and the cool stuff, it's not wrong. The fact that you're struggling with that right now, you're not there. It doesn't matter. What I want you to focus on, contrast. Are your lights light enough? Your dark's dark enough? Pick a red, a blue, just pick any of them and make that work. And if you're mixing your colors as you go, you're less likely to end up with mud. If you're mixing multiple blues, you're more likely to end up with some weirdness. Pick one blue, and that is the blue. If you want it to be warmer, you're going to be adding yellow to it. If you want to cool it down, you can start adding some reds to it. Well, sort of. There's so many rules when it comes to color. You can just overcomplicate it so much. Simplify it as much as possible. And what's going to happen is the more you paint, you're just going to notice things like, oh, this color didn't look good when I mixed it in with that. I'm not going to do that again. You're going to learn easier that way. If you get too much, I don't like to overwhelm students with color theory because it can get so complicated. So that's why I word it in the most basic possible way, like add yellow, like just limited color palette is the way to go. That is going to make your life much easier. And I do need to make a very thorough, and it's going to be way too involved, and I don't want to edit that right now because I'm having a hard enough time editing the Dragon Tank video. But yeah, simplify it. Don't worry so much about that. Just pick one red, pick one blue, and those are the reds, and that is the blue that you're going to use through the whole painting. And it's going to work because you limited your color palette. When you are bringing in tons and tons of colors, that's when things typically go downhill. Simplify as much as possible. Let's see. Where am I? Moody Roan said, the link in your email to the liner brushes from Hobby Lobby no longer works. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I think somebody told me that they were clearancing those out. So yeah, we may have to find alternatives there, which sucks. I really have no reason to go to Hobby Lobby now. That was like the only thing I bought from them. Jen Buys a House said, I have ordered 3 of those erasers. Lisa, I don't think I can come to the streams anymore. I spend too much money. Yeah, I'm a bad influence for sure. Let's see. Ruth said, will digital art lessons be added to Patreon in the future? There are 3 there right now. 2 are done on a tablet. So like if you have an iPad, you could follow with it. If you have, like I have my Samsung tablets, that's what I do them on. And I've got one that is on Photoshop. So yes, there definitely are. I've got one I'm working on right now. I'm not sure when I'll finish it. It's just kind of here and there I work on, of a flamingo that'll be a digital painting or tutorial. So yeah. And I'm going to do another digital pet portrait because I want to do another giveaway for everybody, but I want to open it up internationally. I can't ship the painting, like shipping it out of the US is just a pain, a bad pain. So I want to do a giveaway, a digital one, so I can just email the file to the winner so that can be internationally. So yes, I will have another lesson with that too. Nick said, oh, no, wait, Nick is just messaging me these questions. Fly Me to the Moon said, where do you get the cardboard to put on the back? Does it come with a mat? Yeah, it comes as a set from Golden State. Actually, hold on. Let me just, I'll grab you the link and put it in the chat right now. Let me go with my orders. I'll just link you the one that I ordered. Oh, crap. I'm not logged in on this device. This may not be as easy as I thought. Oh, what is my passkey? Where does that come up on? Let's save a passkey device. I don't have an app pulling that up. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be getting that. Why does Amazon have to make it so difficult to log in? You didn't send me a notification. It's probably sending it on my other computer, which doesn't do me any good. Okay, no, I can't. Oh wait, I can. I'll send it to Nick and Nick can post it. So let me do it this way then. Fine, I have a workaround. I don't need you, Amazon. I mean, I do need you, but my orders. Matte. Is this the right size? 5x7. Yeah, this one here. Let me copy link, send it to Nick because I'm not in that chat. Paste, and there we go. Nick, if you get a chance, can you post that? If you're still here, I think you are. If you can post that in the chat, that's the exact matte set that I buy. Oh, it didn't even give me the thing to log in, but now I'm instantly logged in on my whatever. So yeah, that's the matte, and it comes with the bag and the board, like everything pre-cut. So that's what I order. Hitomi said, I love the sweatshirt. Is it your design? Yes, it is. It's this one's zombie snail, and then we had chicken with the don't drink the paint water. So both of these, I think they're still both in my merch shop. And then this one with the Magnolia, the bigger, here, I'll show you really quick. I can actually add, whoops, not that. The Magnolias that I'm going to have. I think I downloaded it. Oh. It doesn't have a background, so that's because it's the digital painting, just the one part, but whatever, you'll be able to see. So those are the full branch of Magnolias that are going to be eventually on some shirts. I've got some plans and some cute sayings to go with it. So it looks really pretty on a pink shirt. Like the pink on pink looks so pretty, but I will do it on different colors. It'll be available for different colors. So anyway, that is the design that is going to be soon, the one that I'm working with, and I've just got to figure out the rest of the stuff that's going with it. Let's see. Whoops, I'm having technical difficulties tonight. Seriously, I just need to go to bed. Stephanie said, hello everyone. If you were able to teach senior citizens to paint, how would you go about it? I teach painting in acrylic several times a month to groups of seniors, and it's a challenge. I teach seniors the same way I teach everybody else. Like I really don't do anything different. I I mean, how senior? Are you talking about seniors that have reached a point where they're like, sometimes where people's hands get really, really shaky? Then for those students, I would go with the acrylic paints like you're doing, but more impressionistic. I wouldn't try to force somebody that's having a problem with stability in their hands to try to force detail. They're not going to be happy. They're not going to have fun. Instead, I would be having them do things more impressionistic. So I'm going to have them paint. I'm going to have them hold the paintbrush back here, not up here. Hold it back here, and you let them be. We're going Van Gogh on that. And that is going to help them to be a lot more happy because you're setting them up for something that they're going to be successful with. That kind of shaky hand works for Impressionism. Whether it be Van Gogh or you go like even Monet where it's really, really loose. They can create something that is beautiful that they're going to like, but if you're trying to force somebody that is at a stage where, like, if they don't have stable hands, or even if they're young and they don't have stable hands, they can still paint. Painting is great. Painting, we were talking about that a little bit ago. It's like the most healing thing. Get them to paint. Just adjust the style, adjust what their goals in that are. Now, on the flip side, I've worked with people who were in their 80s and they had more of a stable hand than me on coffee, and they could do all the detail too. So it depends on the student for sure, but you want to set them up for success no matter what. So that's why, like I said, I won't start somebody with an animal or with a flower, with a portrait, even if that's their end goal. I start them with a flower because you want to start them up feeling good about what they're doing. If they paint or draw something and they're frustrated because they were trying to achieve one thing, and we know first time, anybody, any age, first timer, you are going to do a terrible job with portraits. That takes time. You're going to do a terrible job with anything super realistic. That takes time. So I don't want to set someone up to fail. Let's start with flowers because it doesn't have to be perfect to be stunning. So what are we listening to now? Do I need to change this? I do need to change this because that is not what I want to listen to. We'll just listen to the same thing over again. But yeah, so that would be my advice. But I can't just say for seniors, this is what I would do. It would depend on the individual student. Now, maybe the whole class wants to do Impressionism. That's fine too. So you can do the whole batch. But when it comes to teaching, for me, when I taught classes, I didn't like the classes where I had to have everyone paint the same thing because no matter what, and this is just kind of in general teaching art lessons, no matter what, you're going to have the student who is really, really quick, who paints like me, just like bam, bam, done. And then you're going to have the student who, they may be just as good, but it's going to take them 5 times as long as the other student. And that gets frustrating for students because they're like, I'm not keeping up with the student over here. Why am I going so slow? They're so much better than me. Oh my gosh, I can't do this. You know, you want to set them up for success. And my favorite, and this was my favorite way, as I remember when I was in high school, I was in a studio art class, and there was no teaching. It was just, here are the supplies, here's the theme, go for it. But everyone was working at their own pace. I had a month or whatever to complete a project, or 2 weeks or whatever it was. So there was, no one was rushing, no one was falling behind. So the way that I taught my classes was, even if you missed a class, and let's be realistic. I mean, like right now, my in-laws, normally my mother-in-law would have come over for coffee tomorrow. She drinks tea, but would have come over tomorrow morning. But because of the snow, she had to miss it because she has doctor's appointments constantly, her and my father-in-law, so they can't come this week. If she was set up for a class, she would now, let's say it was an ongoing course, she would now be behind on that class because she had to miss a week due to doctor's appointments. And when you get into seniors, you typically are going to have more doctor's appointments. So if you can work around, if they miss a class, they're not falling behind the class. I let every single person was working on their own project. Now, that meant I couldn't handle more than about 12 students in a class because I would rotate and go by individually and help them. So everyone picked their own project, what was a fit for them, what was good for their stage of art, their skill level, or even just as simple as, this is what I like. Not everyone wants to paint a flower. I had one kid who liked to paint firearms. So, you have, whatever the student is interested in, they're going to do a better job. And then if they miss a class, they're not following behind. And when you get into seniors with so many doctor's appointments, that does happen, unless you're getting a painting done in a single session. Then you don't have to worry about that as much. But now you're back to, oh my gosh, the student's painting too slow. They can't keep up. They're not having a good time because they're worried about it. If everyone's working on their own project, they're not even working on the same subject, which also meant they didn't even need to be in the same medium. I would have students in colored pencil and acrylic and graphite. Every medium I teach could be in one class. No one's falling behind. Nobody's frustrated because of missing a class. I felt that worked out a lot better. So it depends on how many students you have. There's going to be more factors in there as to whether or not that's going to be the best way to teach for you. But those would be some of my tips there. Okay. Moody Roan said, Hobby Lobby still has some synthetic hog liner brushes, but now they're called Master's Touch script liner brushes. I bought some, but they're not the same quality, unfortunately. Why am I not surprised? Like, Hobby Lobby is all the cheapest crap they could source out of China. And I mean, a lot of stuff, good stuff can be made from China too, but they're getting the cheapest of the cheap. I have no respect for the decisions that Hobby Lobby has made and the quality of the supplies they carry. They've been going downhill for a while. Stephanie says, do you license your art? I've considered doing that with my art, but I don't know where to start. Any licensing companies you recommend? Thanks. I have no idea. None at all. What I've done, because I have had my work published in books and on books, I just get permission. Like, here's my flat rate. There you go. I gave Derwent, because I'm on the, they're not over here right now, the Inktense tins. They just pay me a flat rate for the art. They own it. They can do whatever they want with it. And that was my agreement. Is that the best way to go? I don't know, because I really don't know much about licensing art. So yeah, I'm certainly no help there. Let's see. Yeah, Michael's, I'm not a huge, I prefer, which is weird because it did not used to be that way, but it's gotten to where I like the quality of stuff I find at Michael's usually more than my Hobby Lobby, but for the most part, I'd rather, and it sucks because I would rather buy things locally, but you're talking about big corporations anyway that put out the small mom and pop shops out of business. Amazon has a better selection and better prices. The prices, this tape, for example, I checked at Michael's. It was like 3 times. No, I was going to say 5 times. That's way an over exaggeration. I want to say it cost about 5. I'm still trying to over exaggerate. Stop lying for attention, Lisa. 3 times as much at Michael's as what it was on Amazon. And Hobby Lobby didn't even carry any acid-free tape when I went to try to find acid-free double tape, which is weird for scrapbooking. You would think it would be there, but I guess people don't do it as much. I don't know. But yeah. Lily said, could we have a watercolor pencil lesson? I need to do some for sure. I'm slower with watercolor. That's why I don't do it as much. I tend to run into time issues when I do watercolor on my live streams. I am not the fastest at that. But yes, definitely for Patreon, we will have some watercolor coming up for sure. Clark Fine Art said, I wish Maine had a Blick or Banger in Waterville. Yeah, we don't. Did somebody say there was a Blick in Dallas? I don't know. I don't drive, so it doesn't really matter. I have to drag Matt out wherever I want to go, but yeah. Let's see. We've still got a few minutes. There's still time if you wanted to bid on this, our Magnolias. So this will pop into any standard 8x10 frame. And let's see. D-Lynn Creative Art said, I forgot the name of the double-sided tape she uses. You know what? I need to put this in my supply list, being that I'm apparently going to keep showing you guys how to mat stuff. This one is by Scotch. It's Scotch Create. Double check, because sometimes you'll find one that looks the same and it's not listed as pH neutral. Yeah, this one has on there that it is in accordance with ISO standard, blah, blah, blah. So just double check that it's acid-free or pH neutral in the listing. If you look for like scrapbook double-sided tape, that's typically going to be acid-free. Could we have a watercolor colored pencil lesson? Yeah, that's okay. That's the one I answered a minute ago. Definitely. But you guys remember the B? Me rushing things and being on live streams. I definitely have some time issues when it comes to that. Have you picked a photo of the dog to do your painting? I did. It was actually Lily, who's here tonight. Her collie won. So the way that I chose the winners, because I couldn't choose, I pulled any of the photos. Some of you guys, oh my gosh. Directions. I had some people sending me screenshots of their, like they had the wallpaper on their phone, like they had their dog, and they took a screenshot so I could see the clock in front of it. I'm like, thank you for entering, but I can't use that. Like, it has to be high quality, high res, not a screenshot from your phone. You wouldn't believe how many people did that. So if you're one of them going, oh my gosh, that was me. No, you weren't alone. Trust me, you were not alone in that. It was actually, I was entertained, I will say that. But I pulled out any of the photos that were high resolution, were a good angle, good lighting, I could see the detail I wanted, pulled that into a batch, and then from there, I put it all in a folder, counted how many there were, and I used random.org, and then it came up with, it was actually the number 10 one, so I just counted 10 into the list, and that's who the winner was. Because oh my gosh, there were some amazing, amazing photos, and there's more than just that I want to draw, so You may end up getting your dog drawn eventually anyway, even if you weren't one of the winners, but that's how I did the problem with giveaways, I want everyone to win. And I know that sounds like a cheesy, oh, you're just saying that like, oh, I love you guys. And obviously I don't love you because I don't know you. I mean, I say I love you all the time, but you know, I genuinely feel so bad because I know how excited and how badly people want to win a giveaway like that. Cause I don't do, like, you can't buy a pet portrait from me right now. I don't take commissions. So it's not even like I could be, before when I used to do those giveaways, it was like, well, if you really want one, you can hire me. Now you can't, you just can't. So I feel really bad that not everyone can win. Like, it makes it not fun to do the giveaway because I feel too guilty that I can't choose everybody. It's a terrible thing. But yeah, so there we go. That is the story of the giveaway, but I will be doing another giveaway too of a digital one, and that will be open to everybody because I want to do a digital painting lesson of any animal. That one will be open to any animal in any country where it's legal for you to be a part of a giveaway. I don't know your rules. So yeah, that I will be announcing in the future. Let's see. Do we have any other? Yes, George is the collie who is chosen. And I always check too with art supplies between Amazon and Blick and Jerry's Artorama. Those are like my three go-to to check. And normally Blick is my favorite. Blick, mainly because, and this was so many years ago, they may not even have a call center still in the US. I don't know. I don't appreciate call centers that are not within the US just because the language barrier makes it challenging when you have to call for customer service and you're already having a challenge with an order. The language barrier is not a fun addition to an already existing problem. So I really appreciated that Blick's call center was in the US. I got the nicest lady on the phone when I had a problem. I forgot to add something to my cart. I needed to add it. And she calls me on the weekend because I had ordered, I forget what it was. I ordered it on a Friday night and I realized right after, oh my gosh, I wanted the free shipping and I forgot like a single pencil or a single tube of paint. It was one thing. So I emailed him right away, can I add this to my order? And because I mean, we're talking within seconds of me placing that order, me going, oh crap. So I messaged them. I get a call from this lady the next day and she's like, I'll put the note in. I'm not the person who does this, but I'll put a note in and I'm just here for the weekend and, on Monday they'll call you. She calls me back like, I don't know, 20 minutes later. You know what? I'm afraid this isn't going to get done properly. I'm just going to go ahead and do it for you right now. And she goes through and walks me. She was such a sweetheart. And it made me just love Blick because that one amazing customer service person. Now I've had a couple of times with Blick, I think I did with Jerry's too, I think it was Blick though, where I got paper and it came completely like the edge of the pad of paper was dented. Oh yeah, I did not pay an arm and a leg for a pad of paper because Arches is expensive for damage. Like even if it's just the corner and I could cut it off, you're not paying full price. Like I'm not. So you contact them and you're just like, hey, this is damaged. I can send you photos, and they send me a new one. And they'll usually tell you donate or use it, whatever you want. You can toss it, whatever you want to do with the damaged one. Well, I'm going to keep that. Now I'll cut it for free. I'll cut it into smaller pieces and cut off the damaged part. But I've always loved Blick's customer service. I don't remember if I've had to contact Jerry's, so I can't say anything about that. I don't think I have. Maybe, I don't know, I don't remember. But I order so much, who knows. And then Amazon, we all know their their return policy is fairly easy, but they don't always have the best prices. Sometimes they do. Usually they don't. Usually if you're going to order enough to get free shipping, Blick or Jerry's is the way to go. There's also Cheap Joe's is another place you can order from, but I never find everything I want at cheap. Like they're weird, the stuff they have. I never find enough of what I want to get free shipping. So I don't usually even bother with them anymore. Yeah, Moody Roan says Blick has the best customer service hands down. So yeah, good. It's not just I'm not a one-off. It seems to be they're just amazing. But that alone, like, yeah, they're always my first place that I check something when I want to buy an art supply. And then if I can't meet free shipping, I'll check Amazon. But yeah, let's see. I'd really like if Blick started opening more and more stores. Hopefully that will just take over Michael's and Hobby Lobby. We don't need them anymore. Like, I'm done with them. You still have 10 minutes if you want to bid on the, I don't think anybody's bid, which means if that's the case, yeah, it's still 70 bucks then. That is a cheap If you want a chance, I mean, no one's bid, so this is pretty much a given at this point. You could get this for like 70 bucks. So there we go. Lydia said, I've been working on a painting for 40 hours. My biggest problem is I get bored with a piece to the point where I just park the piece. Do you have any boredom busting suggestions? Yes, you don't start anything new till you finish it. I like deadlines. I'm a huge fan of deadlines for getting stuff done, because if I drag something out too long, I do the same thing. You get bored. I don't want to do it anymore. I hate when I have a painting that takes me 5 weeks. And it happens. Sometimes that's just how long it takes. But if I can give myself a deadline, I'm getting this done in 2 weeks, no matter what, I am so much more likely to get it done quickly and not get bored. But when I start dragging something out, and the worst in the world is if you start a second project, I just never go back to the old one. So I don't even allow myself, unless it's a case where like I'm letting an oil painting dry and then I'll get something else going. And then as soon as it's ready for the next layer, I can go back and forth that way. But yeah, give yourself a deadline for this has to be done by this time. And I can't start anything new until that's done. But that deadline is one of the best things ever. I remember years ago, there was a YouTuber who is no longer making videos, go figure. But she made a video, and I remember I used to follow her. She followed me, I followed her, whatever. It was like we were both beginners on YouTube at the time. And she had commented about how don't fall into the YouTube trap of trying to get a new painting done every week or whatever. Because back then you had to do a video a week to keep up with the algorithms as far as what they were to grow it all on YouTube. And she had made this whole you don't want to have a deadline. You don't want your artwork will suffer. Well, her art went nowhere because she didn't give herself a deadline. It's a job. If you want this to be a job, if you want to go somewhere with your art, and I don't mean just doing it for healing, for like therapy or for a hobby, and even then I would still say give yourself deadlines. But if you are actually trying to make a job, if I can't get a painting done or like a video done a week, then maybe that's not what I should be doing, says the person who hasn't had a new separate YouTube video in a bit here. But give yourself a deadline, and maybe it's a small project to reach that deadline in between. But having deadlines has been one of the best things, and being on YouTube is one of the best things for my growth as an artist. Now, I will back that up a little bit because of Patreon and because of making sure I'm doing lessons that everyone's interested in. I would just do surreal work all the time if it was up to me, but not everyone likes surrealism. I get that. I still need to pay my bills. So I've got to make sure I'm making everyone happy with more basic lessons that are like, here's a floral, here's a landscape, here's just an animal head that isn't a surreal piece. I have to mix that in, and so I do start getting bored if I do too much of that. So I'm starting to, this year, one of my goals is to make sure I'm getting more surrealism mixed into the more basic lessons that people are interested in. So, but there are those of you who want the surreal lessons, so I've got a lot coming up for you. But yeah, it's, having a deadline, having something like that has been one of the most beneficial things for me as far as growth. And when you hit that point where you're just bored and you don't want to finish it, tell yourself, I've got till Friday to get this done. Good or bad, it's going to be done by Friday. Like, that's what I do to get stuff. Just get it done. Just finish it, because it's not doing you any good. People think, well, don't rush it. Well, it's not going to ever be finished if I don't, like, it's better to rush something and finish it than have it sit in a closet, never done. What good's that doing anybody? Finish it. Just give yourself a deadline, get it finished. We also have Art by MB, we have, let's see, it says, boys need some love. Oh, Gibson knows. You boys want a super chat? Thank you so much. The boys definitely thank you. Oh, did you guys get a super chat? You think it's because you're being so good? I think probably. There you go. Good boys. Okay. You're all chewed. Go lay down. Go lay down. Say thank you and lay down. Lay down. Go on. Slowest race tags ever. Wait. This is why you flunked out of racing school. Go lay down. Wait. Oh, we're both going to try for the same bed. That's not going to end well. Gibson, pick the other one. You were too slow. See? This is why you both flunked out of racing school. Gibson, down. Gibson, today. Gibson. He's like, no, I'm just going to stand here and do what I want. Oh my gosh. Wow. Thank you so much. Let's see. Oh, Joseph said that with Blake, since their family owned, it's harder for them to expand faster. Well, wasn't Hobby Lobby family owned too, though? I don't know. They took over too fast. I was excited about Hobby Lobby in the beginning. They had a really good, a decent selection, and their prices were way better than Michael's. Not anymore. I mean, some of their prices are, but their prices, they got rid of the 40% coupon and they're like, oh, we're going to make our regular everyday prices lower. But they didn't lower them. They just got rid of the coupon. Thanks. No name calling, foul names, Lisa. Stop that sentence there. I almost called them a-holes. I guess I could say it that way. Liars is what they are. That's what bugs me, is that they lied about that. They were so, oh, no, don't worry. We're getting rid of the 40% coupon so that we can lower all the prices, which good. I'm all for that. But you didn't. You raised them. Like they went up. Let's see. I'm just scrolling through here. Art by MB. So the pups are too cute. Loki says hi to them. Okay, I'm just getting caught up in the chat. Okay, well, we're at 9:57. We'll go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you guys so, let's see. Joseph said the Hobby Lobby had to raise their prices to pay back the countries that kept stealing historical artifacts from. I don't know much about, I've heard people talk about that. I never looked into the details there. I need to. But thank you guys so much for joining me. I don't leave comments once the live stream's over. You can leave just a comment in the comment section and I can read those if you have a subject that you would like to see me paint or draw. And thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you, the boys. Thank you for all the, I can't say the word or they might bounce up. Thank you for all the YouTube gifts. We'll say that. Thank you so much. Make sure to check out our moderators' channels. Links are in the video description. We've got, Nick had a really cool digital painting lesson or time lapse. We have Joseph and Clark Fine Art both have live streams every week. Definitely check them out. Links are in the video description. Links for all the supplies I'm using are in the video description. And I think that's it. I'm wrapping this up 2 minutes earlier, apparently. I ran out of things to talk about. Thank you again, and I will see you guys next week.